As we've alluded to a few times during this podcast series so far, the last 12 months have been a tricky one for retail. They've been closed and then open, and in some cases closed again. Some have introduced new ways of getting their product to customers, and plenty have been expanding their offer in this last year to capitalise on new demand. How many corner shops near you now have their own PPE display, for instance? One such business owner, one that's been adding a few new strings to his bow for some 30 years now, is Stuart.
My name is Stuart Blow. I'm the Managing Director of Stupots Limited in Oundle, Northamptonshire. We've been in business for about 28 years now.
If you live in Oundle or nearby, chances are that in 28 years you've either visited or at least been past the shop at some point, and you probably even recognise some of the changes that Stu describes over that time.
Well, we're doing, dare I say, it feels like some days everything, but we're like an ironmonger's come cook shop, if you know what I mean by that. It's like we're selling saucepans, frying pans, kitchen gadgets, some electrical items like kettles and toasters, nothing big like fridges or anything like that. But and then also we're doing a lot of cleaning materials.
We've met a lot of businesses during this season that are family affairs, and having that close-knit feel has been really important for lots of businesses trying to move quickly and adapt this year. In this regard, Stu's no exception.
When we first started, I started the business with my parents. I feel I ought to point that out. And we were really going for a cook shop, if I'm honest, because that was in vogue at the time. But we were getting so much demand for other things that we sort of said, well, we're sort of cutting off our noses to spite our faces here if we're not careful.
You don't stay in business for nearly 3 decades without doing something right. So what is it that keeps people coming back to Stupots and keeping them at the heart of their community all this time, even as the world continues to change around us today? We'll find out in this episode. This is Recovery Through Enterprise, a podcast where we meet some of the amazing small and medium-sized businesses across the East Northamptonshire region that call the area home. Be sure to check out our website for more information on the project at recoverythroughenterprise.co.uk or check out the dedicated pages on Facebook and LinkedIn. In the meantime, to make sure you don't miss out any future episodes of the series, be sure to subscribe in your podcast app of choice. For now though, thanks for joining us. It's great to have you along. One of the key things to the longevity of this business has been its location, one that sees it right in the centre of town, and this unrivalled location has been great over the years. Being right in the hub of things has meant solid year-long footfall.
Well, we're in the marketplace, sort of on, just up from St Otis Road, which has got the co-op, and we're right on the corner in the centre of the marketplace at Oundle, really. We're very lucky in respect because we are also near a chemist and the post office, and we're sort of near a couple of cafes as well, so we're right in the hub of it.
But when Lockdown 1 came into force 12 months ago and brought the UK to a temporary stop, that footfall suddenly dropped, as less people were making their way into Oundle town centre day to day. As the restrictions came into play, though, the new products and services that the family had added over the years ended up being something of a blessing, as their provision allowed Stu and the team to stay open for their customers as an essential service.
We're very, very fortunate in that position because we're doing key cutting and we drain cleaner, and we're selling like rodent controlled, that sort of thing, which is, it is necessary. It's not very nice, but it is necessary, some of that. And we're also doing a lot of repairs and selling a lot of batteries as well.
So with the team working hard as ever, maybe in a few areas they maybe weren't expecting to be working quite so much last year, Stupots carried on, but this wasn't business as normal. With customers unable or perhaps uncomfortable making trips into town, Stu started having to introduce a new delivery service.
What we did was we made ourselves very open to delivering to people.
And to make matters slightly more complicated, this wasn't a simple click and collect or online delivery model.
People were ringing us, quite frankly, over the phone, because some of the stuff that we're selling is very difficult it's such a vast range to put it on the computer and that over the web. It's just a little bit unrealistic unless you're going to spend an absolute fortune on a website.
As it was, though, with people calling in, Stu ended up forging and developing the relationships they've built with their customers over the years even more, even taking on something of an unofficial agony aunt role.
Dare I say it, in some ways it worked better because a lot of the people that rang us knew us, and so you could have a bit of a chat as well, which was good for their mental health, dare I say. I mean, ask them how the garden's going and things like that. So we did a lot more delivering than we ever would normally. I mean, we were literally going out the shop, walking it to somebody who's like 2 streets away.
And even to say making all of these deliveries themselves was straightforward would be stretching the truth a little bit.
And also we were obviously jumping in a vehicle and taking it to them and dropping it off. A little bit of ringing doorbells with your elbow and wearing like that was going on, to say the least. And of course, when people come into the shop, you don't realise sometimes just how far they live away from your premises. So 1 or 2 of the people we delivered to were a little bit of a shock just how far away they were.
All told, it meant that as the owner of the business in particular, Stu was putting in some long hours through this period.
I mean, the staff have been absolutely fantastic, don't get me wrong, but obviously when you're don't feel sorry for me, but at the end of the day, you are the boss sort of thing, and of course it does fall on your shoulders. But, so yes, it was a lot of long days, and not that there's anything else to do, mind you.
One of the things we alluded to earlier was how Stu and the family have capitalised over the years on demand for new products. But for the guys, one of the main things they were selling through this period was something they've been offering since day one. You probably remember yourself now how at one point last year the whole country seemed to go baking mad for a while. Personally, I enjoyed a number of good lemon drizzle cakes through that time, and it would seem I wasn't the only one, as the demand at the shop kept the guys very busy.
Yes, there's been a lot of bread baking going on, I have to say. You cannot get a electric bread maker for love nor money at the moment, it seems. But we're also doing the basic pans, like the £2 loaf pan and the £1 loaf pan, and we sold a lot of those through the summer. It really was quite a significant amount.
And that demand was being seen across the whole country. In that context, having to try and manage the dual demands of moving quickly and somehow work around delays from suppliers was an interesting one.
It's very difficult to get suppliers because some of the firms that were supplying us had put people on furlough. It's a bit like being in the fashion industry some days.
And as demanding as it was, despite the long days and the hours spent making deliveries to customers' doors, it all paid off. And as we sit here at the start of 2021, Stupots is bracing for the year ahead. As we look back over the last 12 months, I asked him what he thought he'd learned above anything else through this period.
What would you say you've kind of taken the most away from this year?
That I think if you pull together as a team, and I do mean actually speak and connect with your staff a lot closer, your business is far, far more effective. It doesn't even matter if somebody has a bit of an out there idea. It deserves to be considered.
And the best idea someone pitched him in the last year? A really simple one.
Probably the delivering by foot. Literally putting the items that somebody wants in a bag and just taking it to their property.
Sure.
Dropping it off at the doorstep, ringing the doorbell with your elbow. You're only probably out of your business for a couple of seconds or minutes, dare I say, before you walk back, and you've made somebody very happy, feel very safe.
This kind of dedication to the customers has clearly paid off, as the goodwill and word of mouth continues to spread throughout the town, something akin to gold dust in a town the size of Oundle.
It's you can't really beat it from that point of view, because once people trust you and rely on you, sort of thing, it does give you a lot of confidence.
Through everything, Stu and the family managed to both maintain and continue to grow their business through 2021. And as lockdown 3 inches towards being eased, Stu's already making plans for the year ahead, hopefully with a little more emphasis on the home part of the home-life balance this time.
I suppose it's trying to keep going in the same vein, really. We've got to try and get probably a better work-life balance, because it's been very hard work over the last sort of 12 months, because we've all thrown ourselves into it. But,
Sure.
You do need a break sometimes. And it's very difficult to take a break at the moment, unfortunately. But I think, it will, as you suggest, I think it will get a lot better, and it will get a little bit easier. Well, hopefully people still will appreciate us and
Sure.
carry on.
Philip Kotler said the best advertising is done by satisfied customers, and with a reputation that continues to grow and improve with every passing delivery, Stu can certainly hope to rely on his own army of satisfied customers to repay some of the dedication they've shown to the community this last year. In the meantime, if you're in the market for your own kind of baking equipment or cake pan, you might want to look them up online. They live at stu-pots.com. In the meantime, to find out more about the Recovery Through Enterprise project, please be sure to visit our website at recoverythroughenterprise.co.uk and find out more about the amazing support and assistance available to businesses all over the East Northamptonshire region. Don't forget you can also find more information on our dedicated pages on both Facebook and LinkedIn. In the meantime, to make sure you don't miss out on any future episodes of the Recovery Through Enterprise podcast series, be sure to subscribe to us in your podcast app of choice. Thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate you stopping by. This podcast was a production of So Very Creative. You can find out more on our website at soverycreative.com. Next time on Recovery Through Enterprise.
Working with the Crown Estate, then they want to support the local area, and anything that's independent, in my eyes, it creates an experience. So independence, they do create an experience.
Not all local businesses live on the high street. Find out how the independent businesses of Rushton Lakes have been faring through the pandemic next time.